All right.
Good morning,
Hey,
everybody.
good
Hi.
morning. Hey, happy Saturday.
Sorry, we kind of popped on the screen for a minute and then we went away. It's
Yeah.
one of those mornings, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, how you guys doing today? How's everybody doing? You having a good Saturday so far? Did you have a good week?
Oh, and like G just mentioned, it's the last weekend of summer. So that's so crazy to think how fast summer went by.
Yeah, it really went fast.
Already fall.
So many projects, so little time.
Yeah.
So
So like you, we're probably we're really excited for fall season. Things kind of slow down a little bit, right?
a little bit, yeah. There's that switch over. There's that changeover from all the veggies and the fruits and stuff, and then all the flowers. There's that switch over from when things are thriving in that hot, nice, dry weather, and then for us, it just gets wet really fast and cools off really fast, and we're experiencing that right now.
I know. We had a ton of rain in the last like 12 hours, and it's like we got all the rain that we've been waiting for since spring. It's just like boom. So we're getting some this whole weekend. We are expecting rain. So I'm sad because it's like I didn't get out to get all the tomatoes harvested, right, or the dahlias.
We can still do that though.
I know.
There's nothing stopping us from doing that.
That's
It's just
true.
they're going to be a little wet.
Hopefully they won't all split though, right?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yep. The sooner we get them, the
I know.
less time they'll have to split. So, yep. So, yeah, guys. But what's going on in your guys' world? What's going on in your gardens? Is it still blazing hot? You still got a lot of fruit and vegetables and flowers coming up, or did you see that switch over yet?
I know. I'm
So let
curious,
us know in the
too.
chat. Yeah.
It feels like fall started really early here in the Pacific Northwest. So
Yep.
it's kind of like it's getting cold at night.
Yep.
Definitely.
It is. Yep. Feels good.
It does.
I like
I
fall.
know. I kind of miss I have a hard time transitioning at first because I kind of am really cold for a while. It takes me a while to kind of bounce back from the heat. But we have G here. Good morning, G.
Morning,
Hi,
G.
Jennifer T.
Morning,
and
Jennifer.
Good morning, and good morning, Kim.
Morning, Kim.
So the rest of everybody's starting to kind of like pop into the chat here.
Yeah,
So
I
let
think-
us know if you're here.
I think they know. I think everybody knows that we're a little after 9 o'clock.
I know. I'm
on
sorry, you
things. And
guys.
yeah, it's okay. I mean, we're, technical stuff. We're figuring it out
I know.
little by little. So, but thanks for being here,
Thank
everybody.
you. I know.
Yep.
I definitely agree with that. Thank you for being here. And we have a poll up that's kind of related to just a little piece of what we're going to talk about later, which is which fall task is on your list? And I guess I don't know if you can click multiple options. So maybe the one that's most like prevalent, like the thing that's at the top of your list. So if you check the poll up top there, let's see what we've got so far. It's kind of split all over the place, which that makes sense because there's so much to do in fall. So,
Well, the options are mulching, bulb planting, dividing any plants that you want to spread around your garden, and then propagating any plants by cutting, like stem cutting
Yeah.
this fall. That'd be fun.
and that's in the lead right now, actually.
Cool. Yay!
So most of us so far have voted for
Make
that
more
fourth
plants.
one, propagating
Make more
plants.
plants. Make
Which
more plants.
actually fits really well with something we want to tell you guys about and offer you.
Really excited, guys.
This is, okay, I don't know if we've mentioned this yet.
Probably
Maybe
not,
on one or two videos, maybe,
but not here.
but not on our live. So, and we missed you guys last week, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, guys, we did miss you.
We definitely missed you. Do you want to?
So we are offering a couple of classes on what's called amphy.com, AMPHY.com. And so there's a couple free classes. We got a free class on the basics of deadheading. We got a free class on a quick introduction to plant propagation. And it's going to be fun. We're offering those. And then also we're offering some paid courses. And there's two of them are both plant propagation. One's a lecture plant propagation and for stem cuttings, and the other one's a lab propagation class. And so the lecture is literally us we're calling it a lecture, but
fun.
it's interesting. We're thinking about these things as, what do we do in college? Oh yeah, we had a lecture for our science courses. We had a lecture, and then we had a lab portion. There was the teaching portion, the lecture, and then there was the hands-on applying lab portion. And so we're kind of doing the same thing, really. And so each are 30 minutes, but the lecture is basically getting into the details and a lot more information on taking stem cuttings. What does that mean? What do you need to know? And how is it different from like plant to plant, season to season? And then there's the lab portion, which is the hands-on, and that's 30 minutes. But what we want to do with that to offer anybody out there, especially you guys, is we want to help you and walk you through step by step how to actually take stem cuttings from a specific plant that you want to take cuttings from, that's season specific, that's season appropriate. And so right now it'd be fall. I mean, we're almost to fall, a couple days out here, or a day out or something. So what would you take cuttings of in the fall? And if you pick the plant, you sign up for the course, you pick the plant, we walk you through step by step how to do that, and we'll do some footwork on the before end to make sure we have all the information, and we use our resources, we'll give you resources, and we'll just walk you through it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I think what's really cool about this, you guys, is, there's like a ton of like online course kind of places you can go to, like Skillshare, Udemy, how do you say that? Udemy? I always say that wrong. And they have awesome stuff on there, so you can always check those out. But I know, I can't say it.
Udemy, Udemy.
All right. Wow. The Amphi one is live. So that's kind of cool because it's like basically a Zoom chat, but it's like a course.
Yep.
Right?
It's through Zoom.
Yeah.
The whole technology is through Zoom, but we can do one-on-one courses. We can do group courses of up to hundreds of people if we want to.
If we want to.
Made her smile.
Corny.
My job's done here today. Okay.
Yeah, I love that. I know we can, and so what we're getting at is, again, it's called amphi.com. I think they've been around for like 4, maybe 5 months now. It's very new-ish.
Yeah, it's very new, but the technology is awesome.
It's pretty cool.
The interface and the platform is so cool. It's so simple, and so definitely go check it out, because there's not only just like our class on there. There's other classes for different kinds of coaching, teaching, all sorts of things.
Tons of different
like
things.
Yeah, I mean, there's life coaching, there's financial coaching, there's how to play guitar, there's people that want to help you learn how to sew,
like languages. If you want to talk one-on-one with somebody and learn like Spanish or French or something, you can have you can hire a teacher.
Yeah,
I know, we're excited.
We're really excited, and it's a great company. We love the people we've been working with, and so we're just really excited about it.
So we want to tell you about it. So number one, that Amphi is available. Number two, we were able to grab a gift card from them to give away to you guys.
Yes.
It's for $20 off, which a lot of classes are free. Some are $20, some are $50, some are $150.
Some are,
they're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So we have a gift card to give away, and we were like, we're giving it to our live audience, you guys. Yep. So basically what we would do, the winner would get an email from us with like a coupon code to just enter at checkout on Amphi, if that makes sense.
Yep. So, so today we're going to do a drawing, and if you're here today and you want to be in that drawing, let us know in the chat.
Yay.
Say, maybe raise your hand or give us a thumbs up, or just say, I'm in, or whatever, but we want to offer this to you guys because we're just excited.
So if you want to win the drawing today, again, it's a $20 gift card to this new teaching course website. Let us know in the chat, and we're going to enter. We'll draw that name a little bit later today.
Yep. And just to make sure you guys understand, you don't have to use the coupon code on just
not at all.
On our courses. Any course, it's good for any course on that platform. So just making sure that's clear.
Yeah, totally. So let's pause really quick. There's a lot going on in the chat. We have a lot of our friends have joined us. Sherry.
Hey.
Morning, Sherry. Sherry's in Chicago, she says.
Chicago. Wow, the windy city.
And she said she's going to be mulching and bulb planting this year. That's definitely on her list.
Awesome.
Cheers, Real Jingy's here.
Hey, Real Jingy. Cheers, buddy.
Hi, Real Jingy. How are you doing, buddy? Good to see you, or see you.
Yeah.
Jennifer's here. Jennifer said they've been having some beautiful weather where she lives, and it's finally getting cooler, so she can be outside gardening all day.
Awesome.
So that's,
wow, all day. You're a champ.
I know. Jeez. That's always nice when it cools down a little bit, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
Let's see. G. Oh, G is so sweet. G said happy anniversary and 1 week.
Oh, thanks, G.
So we were so excited a couple weeks ago. We were going to have an anniversary show and just celebrate with you guys. And we got to thinking the week before, and we were like, it's 9/11's anniversary. We feel weird. We don't feel right.
Yeah.
We felt disrespectful.
Yeah, to be respectful of the day and remembrance we didn't have alive. So if you didn't catch that from before in a couple posts we had, that's why we weren't here. But yeah, so we're very grateful to still be here with you guys, and thank you, G. Thank you so much.
Thank you for remembering that, because then we kind of were like, well, that ship's coming on, so we're just going to move forward. Yeah. But thank you. And G, this is cool. Another announcement from G. He said his daughter's school approached him to do a school garden.
Woohoo!
That is so cool. And
Great.
he said he's taking
All right.
everything he's learned from you and I, and hopefully his daughter's school will have a good garden.
Oh,
that's amazing.
we know it'll be a
It is
great
gonna
garden.
Be awesome.
It's
And
gonna
what
be great,
a cool
G. Awesome.
learning opportunity for you.
Yeah, right? I mean, oh man, you're going to have so much fun. So many possibilities.
I can't wait to hear what kind of things you want to grow and like what's the goal. And, you know,
Yeah.
if you want to chat with us about anything, let us know.
Yeah, totally.
We would love to hear what your ideas are.
Instagram, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. So that's super fun.
Awesome. Congratulations.
I know.
Woohoo.
So you guys, yeah, it's looking good. People are chiming in, and Kim Matlock's here. Oh, Kim wants to. Okay, got that. Oh, good morning, Sharon LaFay.
Oh, morning, Sharon.
Gosh, you guys, this is fun.
It's blowing up.
Daisy Hernandez. Good morning.
Morning,
Hi.
Daisy.
Daisy's here from
Welcome.
New Jersey.
New Jersey. All right.
And we've got a couple people entering the contest, so
Oh,
I'm going to
good,
start
good, good.
entering names
Cool.
while we.
Okay.
Actually, hold up. Should we go into some questions?
Sure, let's go into questions.
Okay. So again, let us know in the chat if you want to enter the drawing for the Amphi $20 gift card, and we'll get you.
Yep. Say, do our hand raise emoji or say I'm in, and we'll get you entered.
Definitely, we don't want you to.
Yeah.
And I'll be checking the chat and add those.
Cool.
Okay, so the first question is on a video that we, I think this was from last year. It's called Transplanting Lavender Plants, Front Yard Bed Redesign Part 2. It's a really long title. I believe this name is a beautiful name, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce this, but I think it's Xiomara Ortiz Rosado. And the question is, what's the best time of year to do it? To transplant lavender?
Best time to transplant lavender
That's
plants?
a really good question.
The best time to do it, in my experience, in my opinion, is in the fall. Now, we didn't do that in this video because our larger picture, our larger plan was to get those, to get these specific lavender out of a specific bed where they weren't getting enough sunlight. And so it was for the plant's health that we moved them in the spring, the mid to late spring, I believe it was. Was it last year? Yeah, I think it was last year.
I think it was last
And
spring.
so that's why we moved it when we moved it. But the best time to move like lavender and your other like woody or herbaceous perennials, most of them anyway, is in the fall. And the reason for this is because most of the plants that you're going to have in your garden, not all of them, but most of them, a lot of them are summer bloomers. They might go into the fall with blooming, but the large portion of a lot of plants, especially in our garden, especially if they're summer bloomers, they're going to be through their life cycle. They're going to be already have gone through the reproductive cycle, which is flowering, right? So with that, they've completed their life cycle for the year. It's awesome. That's great. They're starting to slow down. They've already gone to seed or they're going to seed. They're starting to slow down, but they're still actively growing. So you can take them and move them. So, and when you move them, when you transplant them, they're gonna lose some root mass. It just happens. You can be as careful as you want, but you're still gonna lose a little bit, if not a lot. And so you move them, and so once you move them, they'll be able to get reestablished a little bit easier in their new area because they're still actively growing on top and also below. Also, the soil is still workable in the fall. It's not frozen yet, and it actually is still has like an abundance of heat that it's accumulated over the summer. So it's still actively moving around. Microorganisms and things are still in there doing their things. So this all helps the plant get reestablished a little bit faster and get into the ground and get comfortable before any cold weather sets in. So fall's a really good time to transplant plants.
I mean, for that matter, that applies to all perennials. That's why perennials, it's so
almost, yeah.
It's such a great time of year for most perennials. To be
Most of them, yeah. And it depends too. Like our goals for what we did in this, this video. It wasn't the best time to transplant them when we transplanted them in the mid to late spring, but because they were starting to flower, they were really growing, and so we kind of shocked them.
I know we did.
When we moved them to their new location, but it was a better location. It was a lot more full sun. It was a lot more open, and they're actually they're thriving. They're doing a lot
they've
better.
Doubled, and we've pruned on them a couple times already just to kind of reshape them, and
Yep.
they really need. We had them in kind of a semi-shady area. It was a mess, and that was my bad. That was from me in my early days of not really knowing what I was doing.
It's all a learning process.
I wanted lavender in the walkway as I walked to the front door, and
who doesn't?
it was under a tree, so they weren't getting any light. It was a mess.
Having your walkway lined with lavender is just an awesome idea.
It just sounded like an awesome idea, but beginner, rookie mistake.
It's all good.
but it's okay. They're doing well now.
Yeah. Yep.
So I hope, Xiomara, I hope that was helpful.
Yeah.
So,
Hope that answered your question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, definitely. That was a really good question. So next question comes from Rodney Riley on a recent video, how to take coleus cuttings. How do I overwinter?
Good question. Good question, Rodney. Yeah, you know, coleus, they're kind of a semi-tropical, tropical plant. They're beautiful, right? They're great to have out in the garden. They add so much color. But in our climate, we're in zone 8B. They're not gonna overwinter. They don't take the cold weather. So, and we've seen it in our garden where the temperatures consistently are below 50 degrees or even colder. They start to wither and die. They wilt, and it's the weirdest thing. It's like, it's just cold. What the heck's going on? Well, these plants aren't hardy enough to survive even 50 degrees or a lot less temperature. So what you need to do is to overwinter them is basically you can take cuttings and you can replicate the plant from a clone, which is what the stem cutting is, of that plant, or what we've done, and we made a video about it later on, I think just after the video you're referencing here. We made a video about how to overwinter your coleus, and we went out to our garden, we dug up the plants. We dug them up out of the front yard, repotted them, and we're gonna keep them indoors to overwinter them, and then we'll be able to keep them growing, keep them healthy, and we're going to treat them like indoor plants. So, and it's kind of fun to think about. A lot of our indoor plants, some of them take full sun, some of them don't. And the ones that don't, they usually like indirect sunlight, which means if you have a window, look at it this way, if you have a window and the sun is directly coming in that window, it only comes in to that window and then it stops where the sides of the window, you know, are. They let the light in and then the light stops, right? So where the light stops and the sunlight doesn't hit just past that threshold of where the light stops, in that area that doesn't get the sunlight, that's indirect sunlight. That's indirect light right there. Well, a lot of houseplants love that area. They can't take the full sun, but they'll take that indirect sunlight and they thrive in that. Well, coleus are just like that. They thrive in indirect sunlight when they're inside, when they're grown indoors. So if you want to overwinter your coleus plants, treat them like an indoor plant. Use best practices for, you know, watering when needed. Keep checking that soil. Make sure they're not in super soggy soil, but make sure they have some moist soil, you know, on a consistent basis. And put them in that indirect light. Make sure there's air circulation if you can. If not, you know, just it's okay too. But you just don't want it to. You just don't want to neglect the plant. So just keep your eye on them. But that's how we're doing it, and that's how we would suggest you do it.
And so. That was really good. And this question's related to kind of this question as well. Stromy53, good morning, by the way.
Morning, Stromy.
She asked, when you bring the plants in, how do you prep to avoid bringing pests in?
Good question.
So wow. Awesome, because that happened to us last year, unintentionally.
Yeah. So
that's an awesome question.
Yeah. So Stromy, what you need to do, and anybody else out there, when you're taking a plant and you're bringing it inside, you want to almost put it into a quarantine area, either inside your house or like inside your garage, or if you got a greenhouse, put it in there for about a week or two. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna quarantine that plant. If you do it inside, just put it in its own area away from the other plants, if possible. And when I say away, I'm talking like 5 to 10 feet at least. Keep it quarantined, keep it away from other plants. And that goes for your garage or your greenhouse too. So what you're gonna do over about a week or two is you're gonna keep the plant up. You're gonna make sure it's getting the right light. You're gonna make sure it's getting enough air circulation and enough water. And you're gonna look at the plant and watch for any signs of any pest damage or any pests themselves. And so you're gonna look under the leaf, because aphids like to be, if you're looking for aphids or you're worried about aphids, you wanna look under the underside of that leaf and look for the little white, there's white, black, green, yellow, green, brown.
They come in every color.
Yeah, it's
every
kind of
color
crazy.
of the rainbow.
So, and it kind of depends on where you live and some other things going on about which color you're gonna get, but aphids are aphids, right? So look on the underside of that leaf, look for the clusters of those aphids, look for curl leaves, or leaves that actually start to curl either into themselves, like here's your leaf, here's the top, here's the bottom, they'll curl in, sometimes they'll curl up, sometimes they'll curl down, and that depends on a bunch of different things. But you're gonna look for these signs on the plant. Look for any dieback on the plant. You know, there could be some fungal or bacteria bacterial things going on. Look for spots on leaves. Just be aware and be very visually aware of what's going on with that plant, and check it every single day under that quarantine. And then at the end of the quarantine of a week or two, if you think it's good and you don't see anything, there's no signs of damage or pests or anything, bring it all the way on in and mix it with the other plants. But also keep your eye on it too for the next week or two, because sometimes even down in the soil, the little bugs will be down there, or insects or diseases, and you don't know until it pops up. So always keep your eye out for that stuff when you're bringing something inside, even after that quarantine. But do the quarantine.
Which is what happened to us last year. I think we've told you guys this story, but it's still so like...
It sucks.
It makes us so mad. But it was our own bad. We had all these cuttings in our greenhouse. It was winter. Everything was healthy, growing, thriving. We had petunias, geraniums, hydrangeas. We had all kinds of cuttings. Yep. We happened to buy a bunch of plants from our local nursery.
But we're not going to say the name.
We're not going to say the name. But yeah, we moved them inside because it was cold out, right? Yeah. We weren't ready to plant them out yet. I think we were making a container on camera or something. Yeah. And we brought aphids in, and they destroyed all the hydrangea cuttings, all the petunias, before we really realized what was happening. Yeah. And we saved most of the other cuttings, but yeah.
We lost a lot of
bummer.
Cuttings. We pretty much lost all the hydrangeas, the petunias. There was a couple. It was really sad, but it happened. So, and we didn't do a quarantine because we trusted the nursery. We just thought, well, it's clean stock, it's clean plant material, and it should be fine. Well, we learned that lesson the hard way. So,
Can I add a side note on that has nothing to do with this? But we were shopping recently for some plants in a different spot, and we actually, like, sometimes I forget to do this, but Sean's like, wait, let's look under the leaves, let's make sure these don't have aphids, and sure enough, the one beautiful plant that I wanted had aphids on it at the nursery. Yep. And they can't control all of that. There's so many plants intermingled and intermixed.
Especially when you have an outdoor area that's open to the public. It's so hard to treat safely that whole area outside with any insecticide, even if it's organic, and still have it safe for the public to keep coming in day after day. Well, and the pollinators too, yeah, totally. So under those circumstances, it's almost impossible for any nursery to control those situations. I mean, they literally have to take their stock, move it out of that area, treat it safely away from everybody and everything, and then bring it back. But you never really know unless you treat the whole area and all the stocks. So it's really hard.
Oh, that was hard because I really, really wanted that plant. But we found a different plant on the other side of the nursery in a different location. So
it was a good plan B. It was a good alternative.
It was a great alternative. It's beautiful, but it was a great lesson learned. Sean reminded me, definitely check your plant. I mean, we've taught about this, and I still forget it when I go shopping. It's like,
well, we get excited about the plants, but we're excited about the plants,
check
right?
Check the root growth, check for health, check for bugs.
Yeah. It's all the best practices, but when you're there at the nursery and you're looking at all these beautiful plants and all these beautiful flowers and thinking about, how this is going to look in my garden and what this is going to, the potential of this and all that. It's like, it's just so exciting. And it takes practice and a lot of time to click yourself over to, okay, no, wait a minute, let me look at the plant. This is the one I want. Now let's look at the plant, and it's hard.
Okay, moving on. So, okay, a new question from Lorna Lewis on how to harvest how to harvest zinnia seeds. Lorna Lewis says, wait, are you kidding me? The head also has seeds? I only have been saving the ones on the end of the petals.
A lot of people do that.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, a lot of people will do that, really, and they just don't know. And it's totally cool. The seeds, and Lorna, you're doing great. I think we already answered you. We replied to you already. You're doing great. Those seeds are perfectly fine. They're going to be just as viable as the seeds on the inside. And so what we have here is we've got a couple of zinnia flowers here. And what Lauren's talking about is she's taking, sorry, let me back up. This whole flower, these are two zinnia flowers. This whole flower, it has two actually different kinds of flowers in it. Botanically, there's two different flowers going on here. There's the disc flowers, which are, so a composite flower in the Asteraceae family, the composite family, they're made up of two actually actually two different kinds of flowers in the actual flower that we see. There's the disc flower, which is the center part of the flower, and then there's the ray flowers that are on the outside. And if you think about it, the center of the flower, it is like a disc. It's actually, when you pull all this away and look at it, it's round. It looks like an actual disc. And then, so that's where that comes from. And then the ray flowers, which are the actual petals that we see, that's a different kind of flower inside this whole flower. So it's a composite of two different flowers, Compositae family, Asteraceae family. Sorry, I'm nerding out. These are called ray flowers because they come off the disc and they're rays. They come out like the sun rays. If you think of the disc as a sun, these are the rays that protrude away from the sun. And so, sorry, this is just some fun facts, some trivia. Both actually produce seed, and we don't see the flowering of these individual flowers. We just don't see it because we're so in tune with there's the whole flower, but it's actually made up of two flowers. So they all go to seed. All these different flowers, the two different flower types, go to seed, and they produce viable seed that you can collect and sow, and you'll keep reproducing the plant. So Lorna thought just the seeds on these petals, these petal flowers, these ray flowers, she was just harvesting those, but she was unaware that you could harvest these inside here to get the seeds too. So that's where her question comes from. And yeah, we taught about harvesting seeds for zinnias, and we mainly talked about harvesting the seeds in the head. Because usually what happens is when these flowers go to seed, they mature from the head of this, from the disc flowers out to the rays. It's just kind of how that happens on these zinnias. So, so that's why we just went in for those and we showed how to harvest these. But we also in that video we did harvest the ray flowers. It was just later in the video when we got done getting the disc flowers out, we went for the ray flowers. So.
That's so cool to think. Not only like there's so many options. That's awesome. It's so cool. It's because of all of the amazing questions we get from you guys. You guys help us become better at teaching and presenting because we could have been a little more specific about that in the video.
Totally.
I love that you guys help drive us to do better.
Yeah.
So
I know,
thank you
really
for that.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, guys. And this is fun. It's fun to talk about.
I know.
I mean, it's trivia. It's a lot of stuff we just either take for granted or just don't even think about. But it's fun to talk about this stuff.
I know,
so.
it really is.
Thank you, Lorna.
And the Asteraceae family is just amazing anyway. The daisy family is so huge. Did you guys know that Dusty Miller is actually in the daisy family? I always think that's so cool because it looks so different.
It's actually a type of leucanthemum or chrysanthemum.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I want to do nothing but just like talk about like the daisy family all of next year. But we've already covered a lot of them, so.
Yeah, we have. We could plant more though.
We can always plant more. Yay.
So thank you, Lorna.
Thank you, Lorna. That was awesome. Okay, so last question comes from Darren. Propagating hydrangeas by cuttings. This is a sore subject for us because, again, we had beautiful hydrangea cuttings and we lost them all. But we persevere.
Yes.
So, okay, propagating hydrangeas by cuttings. What is the name of the book from Michael Durr that you mentioned?
Yeah.
This is an awesome book.
So thanks, Darren, for asking this because this book, there's like I checked it this morning just to make sure. There's a 2009 updated version of this book. The book that we have is from 1990. I bought it when I was in my undergrad studies at WSU. WSU, go Cougs.
Oh, wow.
And so...
It's probably a game day too, right?
Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday, right?
So I got to redo that. Go Cougs! Okay, there we go. That's how you're supposed to say it. Okay, so this is the book by Michael Durr. I bought this back in 1995. It
doesn't even have a cover.
Yeah, it's so used. Look how well used this is. I mean, this thing is just beat up. It's dog-eared. I've got things in here. I don't even remember what all these little things are for in here. Anyway, so this is by Michael Durr, and his last name is D-I-R-R, and he's very well published. He's an actual horticulturist. This is when he was at the University of Georgia. He wrote this book, Manual of Woody Landscape Plants, Their Identification, Ornamental Characteristics, Culture, Propagation, and Uses. This is an amazing book. It's still, the updated version, the 2009 updated version, still covers all these different things. It just has more information and it's just better detail. He does a great job talking about all these different types of woody landscape plants. The propagation information in here, it's called out in sections. Here, maybe I can open this up to show maybe a little bit, but it's kind of a heavy book, so big book. So it goes, leaves, it has species, but it calls out different things in here. And one of the things it calls out is, there's diseases, landscape value, cultivars, propagation. It's an actual heading up here, and it tells you specifically, and this one's about Pinus mugo, the mugo pine. This is about how to propagate it by seed, and he gives specific information. Well, this is where partially we got our information to propagate our hydrangeas.
Yeah.
So we have a couple different sources. There's this one, so go check it on Amazon. Manual of Woody Landscape Plants.
We'll link it down below. Right, sorry.
Yeah, by Michael Durr. Yeah, we'll link it down below.
We'll link it because that'd be easier to probably remember.
And we've got a couple other books too here that we use. And again,
these are fun.
These are from my undergrad days. I just hold on to them. The information in them really doesn't change that much. So the basis of a lot of the information is still the same. Some species might change, genuses might change, they might get reclassified, but the general information about a lot of the plants and the techniques and skills that they teach kind of stays the same. So there might be some updates to that too, but not a lot. So anyway, so good books.
That's cool. We love books.
Yeah, and we love propagation.
We like to nerd out. And we love propagation. I know we have a couple other things to propagate probably on our list, but now we're starting to pull up plants out of the ground just to store them over.
Yep.
Like we kind of mentioned this already, but the coleus, there were a bunch of coleus that we planted in this little grouping, and we wanted to save all of them. So we just pulled them out of the ground, and we're going to keep them inside.
Mm-hmm. That's what we were talking about before too, yeah.
I know.
Well, we got to redo the hydrangea cuttings for this year.
We could.
Yeah.
We could.
We should.
We should. We have a few more coming from Proven Winners that I forgot to tell you about.
Oh.
So they send us plant samples from time to time to kind of try out in our garden.
Surprise.
We have 2 new hydrangeas coming, so very excited about that.
Cool.
But doesn't mean we can't take more cuttings. We'll find room for all this stuff. We love it. We love trying out new plants. It's so much fun for us. Okay, so that is all the questions.
Thank you everyone for your questions.
Everybody.
Please keep them coming.
Please keep them coming.
We get to them when we can. We're so busy. There's so much going on, but please keep them coming.
I know, we have some really good ones.
And comments.
Really good comments.
Yeah.
Okay, so G has a question. G is so excited. He put this in all caps, and then he said, sorry, I didn't mean to yell. I'm just really excited. So he said, when can we start putting tulips in pots for next year? So when can we start planting bulbs? He's in zone 9. I mean, we're not ready quite yet here.
Mm-mm. It depends on the zoning. You should be good in zone 9. You could probably do it now, but you want to set them in a place where they're going to get the cold weather, but they're not going to get really, really wet. And you want to put them in really well-draining soil. We're lucky here that we can just basically right now, we can go plant them right out in the ground right now, and our soil drains well enough to where they don't rot over the summer. Where they're not just sitting in moist soil all year long and they literally rot and die. You want to make sure if you're planting them now in pots, well, in anywhere actually, out in your garden too, you want to make sure that you don't let them stay in too wet of an area of soil for too long. Make sure that soil drains. Make sure it drains really well. So, but yeah, you could, in zone 9, 9A, 9B, yeah, you should be able to plant them right now, I would think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. Make sure it's full sun, well draining soil.
Okay, that's good. I mean, we probably could plant ours now. We're zone 8B, but.
So to speak to G's question about the pots. So if you're going to put them in pots, totally cool, awesome. Make sure it's well draining soil. Again, tulips and daffodils and a couple other bulbs, they need what's called a cold treatment before they'll actually start growing, and it's a specific temperature. Oh, I looked this up so long ago now. I can't remember the specific temperature, but they need a specific temperature to be held at for so many days at that temperature, so it'll trigger them biologically to start to grow when the time is right, when the soil heats up. If they don't get that trigger, if they don't get that treatment of cold treatment or enough of it, they're going to have a hard time regrowing. They're going to have a hard time activating and getting growing. So, so keep that in mind. So basically, if you're putting them in pots, keep them outside or keep them in a cold area that's going to get cold over the winter, so they do get that cold treatment. So, yeah. So Totally cool though.
Yeah,
We're already
that's super fun.
planting the tulips.
I
Yeah,
know, and,
we got to plant ours.
We do. We have some tulips and daffs to plant, and we have some other things coming that we're not going to plant as many bulbs this year as we did last year. We planted a lot last year, and we're expecting some of the tulips hopefully to come back. They're supposed to be perennial, that's kind of taking a chance, but they are the Darwin
hybrids.
So
Those are specific type of tulip that are bred to come back year after year.
We'll see.
Some of them aren't. Some of them are bred just to basically, one and done.
Yeah.
Pop the color and then they're done. You don't really see them again.
Yeah. So anyway, that's fun. Yeah, definitely experiment. G was saying, he might experiment and put some in the ground too. So
cool.
Definitely have fun with it. You loved your gladiolus experiment, so maybe continue that with some tulips and daffodils for more cut flowers.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we're going to kind of get moving into our main topic. We haven't quite got there yet, but I want to mention again, we have a giveaway today. It's kind of pinned up at the top of the chat there in case a lot of people were kind of coming in a little later. We're so happy you're here, and we wanted to make sure you didn't miss this info. We have a $20 gift card to give away. I think that we've got 4 people entered right now in the contest, so we'll draw that a little bit later in the show, but if you want to enter a $20 gift card for amphi.com to use on any course you want on their site. Let us know in the chat by giving us a hands up emoji or saying I'm in.
Yep, and you know what, guys? Go, if you're not sure, if you're kind of like on the fence, like maybe not, go check out amphi.com, amphy.com. Go check it out and see how you like the platform. If you think there's something on there you might want to just give it a real quick, pass through. Type in gardening or type in, life coaching or whatever you're looking for, guitar lessons, sewing, any of that. And then come back and let us know if, put an emoji, hands raised, or I'm in for the contest in the chat, and we'll get you in.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
But today we're going to move on, right? We need to get into our main topic, which is end of summer garden reflection. A lot of us we're at that point now. We had a whole season, and there are some, amazing things that I'm sure happened in your garden, but there were also some challenges that were presented. And I hate to call them mistakes because they're not mistakes. It's something to learn from. Yep. So we're calling them challenges.
They're challenges and they're learning opportunities.
Learning opportunities, that's even better. Yep. So it's something, what we wanted to ask you guys is, and we're going to share some with you, what are some learning opportunities that you had in your garden this summer that you can fix for next year? Yep. It's a piece of learning that you get to take forward with you to apply to your garden next year.
Yep. It's healthy to actually reflect on what you've done, how it's gone, what were the pros, what were the cons, however you want to look at it, whatever filter you want to look at it through. But it's healthy to reflect on these things, and if you want to improve on things, reflection is a good way to do that.
Definitely.
So
yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about a few of our learning opportunities because we have them all the time as well. There's things that you plan for that don't really turn out the way you've planned, and you have to kind of weave and bob a little bit and try to figure out how to make something work or get something to grow better or whatever. It happens to all gardeners, regardless of your experience level, by the way. Nobody's perfect. No garden is perfect. And that's the best part, I think, of gardening is there is no perfect.
Nope. Every garden's unique. Every garden has its own specifics. And with those unique characteristics and specifics brings unique and specific challenges.
It does. I know. It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. So here we are. So end of summer reflection. We're going to go over some mistakes we made, how we think we're going to fix them, and then looking ahead to the fall season. Yay. It's going to be fun. So yeah. So again, just think about and reflect on your garden this year and what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, what the challenges you had put in front of you. Did you meet those challenges? Were you able to take them on and get past them, or did it really stump you? And maybe why it stumped you? Why do you think it stumped you? And can you do better next year? Of course you can. We know you can.
Always,
so that's why.
Well, and sometimes the challenges are things that are out of your control. I mean, it's weather. A lot of us had crazy weather this year, abnormal for our areas, and that really affected a lot of our gardens.
Drought, intense sun, and crazy critters.
Too much rain, maybe.
Well, yeah, and some people too much rain.
Way too much.
And too many storms. Oh my God.
So it's how do you can't really predict or plan for that. I mean, you kind of can, but you just, the weather, you can't control it, obviously. So
you roll with the punches.
You roll with the punches.
Yep. So, and then throw in critters into
I
there.
know, critters.
Which we have a couple stories about. So,
yeah.
so
And
moving
that's
on.
definitely something that we can plan for and try to do better the following year.
Yeah. So, and up here too, we've got on the screen here on the lower left-hand part of the screen, there's dahlias. Then the center, there's zinnias, and then over here on the right-hand side, we got some. I think is that the
That's our dreamsicle calibracoa.
Calibracoa. It looks, yeah. So,
our barrel.
and we had some challenges with each one of these, and we're going to get into that. So,
Yay.
so here we go. So, now irrigation.
First challenge. This was something that I was just very naggy about all summer because I kept asking Sean about different questions about things, and then we just got busy.
Yeah.
I know.
Yep. So we're showing you a picture here of one of our soaker hoses. This is out in the front yard. This was a new planting. If you saw that video, this was a new planting where we had some old azaleas. We literally chopped them in half because we're going to rejuvenate them. And then after about a couple weeks after we chopped them, we pruned them really hard. We moved them. We completely dug them up. And these plants were at least 40, 50 years old plants. I mean, they're really old. So they're doing well. They're doing fine in another spot. Good. But in their place, we put in some new plants, some beautiful new plants. And so there's that dianthus in the front there on the right-hand side of the screen. I don't know if you can really see it.
They're tiny,
yeah,
little
they're super tiny.
New plantings.
But so yeah, paint the town magenta.
Oh, I know.
So beautiful. And then there's cat's pajamas. There's coneflower there. The Price is White coneflower.
I know.
Love that name. The Price is White, Bob.
I know.
And then what do we got there? We've got salvia.
Salvia.
Yep. So I never got to bury this. This soaker hose.
I could have done it too.
Yeah, but it's it just didn't happen, and so that's why we're showing this. Usually we take our soaker hoses, we move them down in and bury them with mulch on top of them. Then you don't see them, but they still do the job very, very well. And so we just didn't get to that. And then we didn't actually have enough of the soaker hose to go around, so we were constantly hand watering stuff, and we just didn't make it enough of a high priority to get all the irrigation set up, to set it and forget it.
Which is so weird because we always have everything set up on timers, running consistently. For some reason, I mean, there were a lot of reasons why we just didn't, it just didn't all connect this year.
Nope.
We had a lot of new planting areas that we're adding or like changing, like you were saying with the azaleas, and new beds, and we're constantly kind of keeping up with the new plantings, and I don't know, it just didn't happen.
Just didn't happen. So that was something, that was the
challenge.
And we know next year what we're going to do is we're going to definitely invest in more soaker hoses, but we're also going to get these buried into the ground and get them set just right so they do a really good job, and we're going to get them on timers.
Like we usually do.
Yeah. So that was one challenge.
Maybe invest in some other types of drip line and different things we're going to research.
We can, sure. Yeah. So that was one of the challenges this year, irrigation.
Did you guys have any irrigation challenges yourself this year? And if so, what did you learn from them that you want to do better next year?
Totally. Yeah, you might have overwatered. Yeah, right. You might have overwatered something. Might have underwatered something. Maybe there was water damage from a sprinkler head just smacking into a plant. I mean, you never know.
I know.
So let us know. We want to know what your challenges were with irrigation. So next up, sparse containers.
Not all the containers.
This was interesting.
There were like 6 of them specifically.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, we planted all these beautiful plants, and we're expecting, probably late spring, I believe, we planted a lot of these containers with new plants and seedlings and different things that we were expecting to grow and be beautiful. Well, they never really got bigger than what you see on the screen there. You can see there's a huge gap. I think we might have pulled a plant out of there that didn't do very well in that big gap area on the right there. But they just didn't do much. It was very underwhelming, and I was disappointed. Every time I looked at those, I was like, oh, I just...
Yep. Well, we thought about it. We thought about it, and we thought, well, nothing's going on bad that we can see. There's nothing bad going on above the ground. There's no damage. There's no disease. We're watering on a semi-consistent basis, but we're keeping our eyes on it, and it looked fine on top. So we're like, well, what's going on down below? Well, oddly enough, we have bulbs down there, and for 2 years, those bulbs have come up, and they flowered, and then they withered back down on the ground, and they did their normal cycle. They're perfectly healthy. But we didn't put it together until, like, I think about midsummer, we started thinking about this when we started really noticing this. And we thought, well, what's going on below the ground, right? So we started looking down there. Well, the bulbs had reproduced. It's like a thick mat down below the soil surface of what we had: tulips, we had alliums,
we have grape hyacinth.
Grape hyacinth, like right towards the surface, just below the surface. Tons of grape hyacinth.
Something else too.
Tons of, maybe.
Yeah, bulbs.
But just bulbs.
Bulbs.
So masses of bulbs. Well, come to find out, all these bulbs, they're taking up space in the soil, right? Well, the plants up above need to have their roots grow out and continue to grow and to bring it more nutrients to grow up above. Well, they had no room to grow the roots out. There was a lack of space, so they couldn't grow down below, so it stunted them up above.
Makes sense.
So we know now that it's like, oh yeah, well maybe we should go, before we plant all these plants, we should remember, hey, did we have bulbs? How long has it been since we've divided and thinned out these bulbs underneath in this pot? And so that was a good reminder.
Well, in this case, it's been about 2 years, so it's a perfect time to I'm actually so excited to get all the older plants out of there. We'll save what we can, and see what's going on with the bulbs. I can't wait to see how many new bulbs there are.
Oh, there's tons of them underneath there.
So we're gonna. That's an upcoming video, actually. That's going to be a thinning out bulbs video, transplanting them to somewhere new.
Yep.
So that'll be fun.
Yep. More bulbs. Why not?
More bulbs.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. We didn't have to buy these. These just reproduced on themselves.
I know.
By themselves. So yeah. So that was interesting.
That is interesting. And maybe did you have any challenges like that? Did you overplant new plants with bulbs underneath or anything like that?
Yeah. So
we do this a lot. We get so busy and move so fast.
And there's so much going on in our garden. I mean, we just forget. And you probably do the same thing. We're only human. There's just, what about this? What about this? What about this? And then all of a sudden, what's going on there? Oh yeah, we've got a ton of bulbs. So
and 3 months later, the pot, the plants on top only look this big. So it's like,
yeah, we tried.
So anyway, challenge, but fun learning opportunity, and it's going to lead to more learning opportunities to see what's going on under the surface.
Definitely. So, moving on to the next challenge.
See, I see this as not really a challenge. It's it's not a bad problem to have, I guess, right?
Could be. Yeah, that's true. Could have been a lot worse.
Yes, I mean, kind of. I don't know.
As far as gardens go, we literally ran out of room and we ran out of time.
That's my fault.
To transplant and get some of these seedlings out in the garden. And then we've got all these elephant ears.
Caladiums.
Oh, those are the caladiums? Are they? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got all these caladiums in there. I didn't take the picture. So they're still in the pots. The caladiums are still in the pots. The little seedlings are still in their seed trays. We just ran out of time and space. And, for the seedlings, we kind of overplanted. I was enabler of planting things because I like to plant things too, but we just ran out of time and we didn't have a plan of where to put all of these seedlings, and so that's why we always tell you have a plan of where you're going to plant them, and then you can kind of project out and kind of get your numbers right for what you want to plant. You don't,
See, Sean teaches all these awesome best practices, and I go and do the opposite a lot of the time because I'm so impulsive. So you're a good teacher because
thank you.
I learn a lot.
Thank you.
Well, and all of those seedlings, in my defense, are all coneflowers and black-eyed Susans, so we can get those planted still this fall, possibly. We'll find space.
So for next year we're going to do a little bit better planning, and we're gonna sow the seeds according to the space we pretty much have available that we scout out in the garden.
And not just by how pretty they will be when they grow to full size.
Which, they are pretty.
They are.
They are pretty, yeah. So, So, anyway, that was something we ran into this year that we could definitely improve on.
Definitely.
So, oh yeah.
This one cracks me up. And gee, we think of you because you planted so many glads this year.
Yeah.
We already had a ton of glads in our front yard that thrive and come back every year.
I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head because we kind of figured this was going to happen.
I know.
The challenge.
We kind of did.
The challenge was the squirrels.
The squirrels.
Oh,
basically,
they're just little jerks.
Yeah, they are. Okay, so let's back up here. So we're calling this gladiolus plan versus reality because we had this awesome plan, of planting all these beautiful, colorful glads kind of surrounding our bird bath. And then we were actually there's some grasses off to the bottom right there that we were gonna kind of add around, or on the inside loop maybe.
Yep.
that didn't need as much sun. And yeah, so if you can look in that picture, sorry, there's some messiness going on in the back, but even in that white pot on the left there, all our glads are going every which way. I mean,
so what happened was we planted all these bulbs. We thought
So
we did
angry.
a great job. We had them just spaced right. We had them in rows. It was going to be beautiful.
beautiful.
And so they started coming up. Well, or they hadn't even started coming up yet. The squirrels, you can't see it, but just to the right of the bird bath there's a couple of bird feeders and a platform and different things. Well, the squirrels get into those too because they like to find all their favorite seeds like sunflowers. And so when they're right there, so the squirrel feeders, the bird feeders were in close proximity to where we planted the bulbs, the daffodils. Well, those little guys, those little jerks go down and they're digging. Well, they're popping all the bulbs out.
Yep, we would find them on the surface, like you'd see bulb with shoot coming out of it, like a stalk of
The stem,
gladiolus leaves. Yeah, found them daily.
Just
We would
throwing them
find
out. They're just literally popping them out of the ground. Well, that happened throughout this whole summer. These poor bulbs couldn't get their roots into the ground fast enough to stabilize them to then to throw up. Most of them couldn't. I mean, this is really sparse what you're seeing here. This thing was supposed to be filled and thick.
Like 25 to 30
Yeah,
corns.
at least in here. And I mean, maybe half of them came up. And so,
And I think 2 of them flowered.
yeah.
So we saw 2, so that's,
So the reason they're growing cattywampus and just all over the place, because even when they started coming up, the squirrels would partially dig them up and push them over or do some crazy stuff to them. So they really didn't get a fair chance. And so, yeah, the squirrels were our challenge this year, just with this area. Also with volunteer sunflowers
Squirrels
everywhere.
were a problem around our entire garden this year. And I know you've probably heard us complain. We have a lot of, we love watching them. They're fun and they're part of our garden. And
They can be fun, yeah.
But they were very destructive. I don't mind that they eat the bird seed, but they were super destructive this year around
This
our
is the
garden.
first year they've actually been so destructive. We've never seen them this destructive before.
We haven't. They not only the gladiolus corms, they dug them up. They dug up any new seedlings, any new plantings. In fact, a couple weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we did a planting herbs in fall video, and we were so excited, and it's thriving and looking beautiful. Well, we have to keep going out and checking daily because they keep popping some of the plants up. I found two pansies on the surface.
Yeah.
They just
It was either 1 day or 2 days after we planted it, Allison went out there and just found like a plant massacre.
Yeah, it was a massacre.
I mean, they just literally dug up that whole raised bed, and it's just like, what the heck is going on?
What are you doing? So
yeah.
they're just trying to like experiment, I guess, and they dig things up to see if there's roots underneath they want to eat, or like we have lots of coneflower heads that have gone missing.
Not that they'll eat the whole coneflower head, but they're trying things. There's a lot. We've noticed there's a lot of young squirrels.
That's part of the problem.
And they just don't know yet, so they're experimenting. They're going out and taking a bite of this and ripping this head of this flower off and taking it over somewhere else and chewing on it, and then this doesn't taste good. Well, blah. But they're constantly learning. Well, our garden's being destroyed in the process.
Well, and I know you bring up a really good point because we've talked about this a lot. Like, what is different this year? What's going on? And I think it's a lot of factors. I think there's a lot of young squirrels. I think their population is really large.
Yeah.
And we habitats being destructed around the area. There's a very big drought going on. Maybe not after this weekend here, but we haven't had very much rain in our climate here since really like early spring, probably.
Yeah.
So a lot of the streams have run dry. So we've kept our bird bath full of water, but it's just like there's a lot of. I think food is scarce. There's a big population. The weather was weird.
Yep, their food sources changed too.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
I think
people
so.
in the past we've seen squirrels come in with like whole peanuts. Somebody's feeding them peanuts, and good for them. That's awesome.
We find them around our yard.
Yeah, we would find them around. Now we're not finding them anymore, and so whoever was feeding them before probably stopped feeding them. So that food source is gone. So they're coming in and they're seeking out new food sources, and they're being really aggressive about it. Well,
and we don't have any dogs right now.
Yeah, we used to have. Yeah.
I think that was
Yeah,
a big.
that too. That would deter them. They'd chase them. Squirrel.
I know, but right. But like this is our second summer not having a puppy around since we lost our dog 2 years ago, and I think maybe the word's out. It took them like a season because last year we didn't have these problems. So anyway, it's just a bummer when you plan for whatever and they destroy it. So we've just had to really stay on top of it. And our fix for next year, for just the gladiolus at least, we're going to transplant all the bulbs out of that whole area.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
We're going to dig them all up around that bird bath you see there, and probably most of those pots that are near the bird bath area.
Yep. Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to replace those with more hardy, stable, either hardwood or even deciduous types of perennials. They could be herbaceous perennials. They may be hardwoods or deciduous ones, deciduous or evergreen. But I mean, they're going to be tough plants. They're not going to take the squirrels' baloney at all, and neither will we. So, but yeah, we're going to put some other plants in there that are going to be a lot tougher.
We're taking our yard back.
That's right.
Andrea B's cracking up. She's like, the squirrels are little jerks. And
they are.
She's like, I'm cracking
they
up.
are jerks.
And G, I think, has maybe had some problems too with.
Oh, really? Oh.
He had some problems with his glads. Like he planted so many of them, and a lot of them went missing. And,
yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yep. Sorry, buddy.
But it's fun to try, and
that's right.
Just get in there.
Well, and you got to keep trying. Yep. You got to keep going. Don't let them deter you. We're not letting them deter us. No. So.
I mean, you guys are literally. We had 9 squirrels in our yard one day, like a couple days in a row.
That we could see. There would probably be more, but we just only were able to count individually 9.
I mean, 9. It's like we're a park.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So anyway, sorry, we could go on and on.
Yeah.
We should just do our next book should be like the damage the squirrels have done all over our yard.
It's the Squirrel Wild West.
How to fix it.
It's chaos, squirrel chaos. So
okay, anyway.
Yeah, so that was interesting, good challenge.
Oh, that was our last challenge.
Oh, that was our last one. Okay.
So, what about you guys? What challenges? I know Kim has one we can share here. Kim said spacing. She said plants get so much bigger than you think they will. This happens to everybody.
Yeah.
The first year for dahlias, not very successful, she said, but I'm going to try again next year. I really believe the weather was a huge factor.
Yeah, Kim, you told us, I think it was either on social media or an email.
On here.
Oh, it was on here. You had some really wacky weather, and that had a big impact on your dahlias.
It really would.
But you know what? It's good to see that because it helps you anticipate for next year.
Good point.
If you see those same weather patterns in your area, in your region, you can kind of anticipate some of those things and maybe build into your garden next year some things that'll help you weather that better. Pun intended. Ha 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 ha. So okay. So, but yeah.
I know weather was a factor for all of us.
Yeah, it was.
And Daisy Hernandez, I know you've got a question out there for you, and we're going to get to that in just a minute because that's kind of related to this slide a little bit.
Should we answer that first?
So I think we'll save it for after this slide if that's okay.
Okay, sure. So go ahead, honey.
So with all those challenges, that was a wrap for this summer season, and it was overall it was a wonderful season. It always is, right? It's always a learning opportunity. There's so many things I want to do. I want more dahlias for next year. That's my secret plan.
I want more zinnias.
And more zinnias. Yes. So we may be creating more garden beds this fall. And actually there is one big one on the docket, I guess, for planting in our backyard.
Okay.
We should have put that on our what's next
list.
Do
I know about this yet?
You do. The big, if I could say really quick, I'm pointing to our backyard where our table is and kind of digging all that grass out.
Oh, yeah. Ground bed.
We're going to do
I thought you were talking about a wood build, wood raised bed. I'm like,
more wood beds.
Really? Okay.
We have a lot of plants that we haven't planted yet. And fall is a great time to plant new perennials. So we need spaces for them. So we're probably going to have to dig up some more of our garden a little bit.
Yeah, grass. Get rid of the
anyway.
ratty grass. So but coming up here, big garden cleanup, and that includes when the dahlias start really disintegrating on us. Usually, what happens is they start dying back. That we get once the rain comes and the cool weather comes, and there's this cycle of rain and then some sun, but it's really cool. We get botrytis we get powdery mildew, not botrytis. We get powdery mildew like you wouldn't believe. And so it just takes over whole swaths.
We already have quite a few places.
Yeah. So I mean, once it really takes over, we're going to start cleaning those up. Actually, the tomatoes and stuff. I mean, we've got a lot of cleanup in different parts of the garden to really get after. But we got to get the rest of those tomatoes before we rip all the plants out.
I want to get all the tomatoes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, even the underripe ones, we're going to pull the green
Yeah,
ones. We're going
definitely.
to put them in the paper bags inside and get them to
Definitely.
ripen.
Like we
Yeah.
usually ripen them up that way.
So.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We usually leave a lot of our perennials alone, and we like to do that through the winter, and then we'll cut them back usually in the late winter, early spring. And we do that for a lot of reasons. A lot of you might do this as well, but you know, for habitat, for like overwintering pollinators or any kind of critters that need cover or nesting or whatnot. So warmth, protection.
Yeah, we try to balance it with, you know, keeping things tidy and aesthetics and having a nice looking garden, but also do our part for the habitat.
I know.
So yeah, maybe you do the same thing, and it's fun. It's fun to see them, because if you do that, you will see more of those pollinators and the local wildlife in your garden.
I know.
So
we like that.
So
So the next thing on the list is dividing plants. This is fun. This also includes bulbs, you know, because we need to thin those out. Well, I kind of have that in the next thing, but dividing plants. What are we going to divide this year?
Shastas.
Shasta daisies.
We need to thin those. We need to divide those because they're getting really big in the front yard.
I love them though. I want them bigger.
We have a couple of hostas that we need to divide.
Good.
Yeah. So
spread those around.
Yeah, those
Cool.
are beautiful. And what
might be
else?
it.
I think right now that's it, but that's enough because we've got all these other things going on, like on this list.
I know,
so.
and my mom keeps wanting us to. She has a bunch of asters. She has this whole garden bed full of nothing but just New York asters. I think they're or New England asters.
New England
I forget
asters.
which kind they are.
New England.
But she's been wanting us to come over and divide those and take some home. So,
Cool.
like,
Heck yeah.
yeah.
Heck yeah.
So
Asters are
We
beautiful.
might be doing that this year too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we've got transplanting gladiolus bulbs. Like we were telling you, we were showing you before in the backyard around the bird bath, and in those planters, we got to get those out of there. The squirrel feeding area and chaos is going to the mayhem is going to stop, and that's part of it, is getting those gladiolus out of that area. And you know, word of the wise, your gladiolus, if you want to move them, let them die back down to the ground, but don't cut them before you transplant them. Leave that dead stalk on there so you can literally go find the bulb, because if you go through and that stalk's died down to the ground and you haven't transplanted it yet, don't cut it, because if you cut that stalk, that stem, and then you want to transplant it afterwards, you're gonna have a heck of a time trying to find them if you didn't mark them. So
that's a good point.
So keep the dead stalk on there until you transplant them, and then as you pull them up out of the ground, then you can cut the stem off, the stalk off, and then go plant the bulb where you want to plant it.
Wow,
But
we have a lot of glads to move.
yeah,
Because we have a bunch in the front yard too.
yup.
Also, we need to prep to store our caladiums and our elephant ears.
Oh, yeah.
Now, normally in our climate, zone 8B, we could leave these we could overwinter these bulbs in the ground, just like dahlias. We're able to leave them in the ground here in our climate.
Yep.
But we didn't get them in the ground yet, and we don't want to plant them yet right now in the ground. We want to clean them up, let them die back first, right? Clean them up, and then get them all dried out, and then store them inside over winter.
Yep. In a cool, dry, dark place.
Yeah.
So treat them like you would treat your dahlias, basically.
If you have to dig them up.
Yeah. If you have dahlias and they're not hard in your area, and you have to dig them up every year. Treat them like that, and so that way they'll be ready to go in the spring, early spring, to get them grown and planted again.
I'm so excited to figure, like, we still need to kind of find out a few places to plant them next year.
Yes,
So that'll be fun.
yes.
Love them.
So next up is adding mulch to the garden beds. We've got we still have our huge pile of mulch out in the front yard on the driveway.
We always have a pile of mulch, I think.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, we want to be able to get that mulch into the garden beds during fall, because it's a great time to refresh the mulch in our garden about every year, every 6 months, and also get it down to get that insulation and all the other benefits from that mulch around the plants before the really cold weather comes in, and those plant roots need to be insulated. So at least in our area. So
I know, especially with all the new perennials we planted, and maybe some that you have as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yep. So
protection.
that's on the list.
That's on the list.
And then last but not least.
Yeah, we're gonna we've been kind of planning to do this for a couple years, and we keep putting it to the bottom of the list. But this year we are gonna do the reseeding project is gonna happen, and what we're doing is we're taking out part of our lawn to make new garden beds, but the other part of the lawn that we're leaving, we're gonna reseed it with mini clover. So this is going to be a fun project. It's a nitrogen fixer, and our lawn needs a refresh anyway. That we have this little patch that we've left for dogs, basically. Otherwise, we would probably rip all of it out.
Yeah. It'd be all like garden beds and paths.
Totally.
And we'd
Oh,
have
I would
rockery.
love to do that. Oh my gosh.
We'd probably put in a water feature.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But
That'll be in our next house. But we know that we'll always have dogs in our life. Not right now, but in the future. And we need at least a little. I mean, we have no grass in the front yard anymore.
Yep.
So we have to keep this little patch just for for pups.
Yep.
So we're gonna put mini clover in. You can walk all over it. You can, it'll bloom, but you can mow it down to keep it a little lower, and you really don't have to water it. You don't really have to do much to it in the future.
yeah, it's bred for minimal maintenance and a lot of beauty, and it'll stay as long as you keep it watered. It'll stay green the whole year, basically, at least in our climate.
Yeah.
And it flowers profusely, so the pollinators, the bees, and all the different insects will really, really like it.
I know. I'm excited to add that. It'll look just lush and pretty. And we just kind of let our lawn go this year. You might have noticed in the background of some of our videos. I'm always so embarrassed when we're filming, like, oh, don't show that. But it
goes dormant. It's coming back actually with this cold,
go.
with this cool, wet weather. It's starting to come back. It just goes dormant over the summer around here. Turns brown, looks dead, but it's not.
And we don't want to spend all the resources of watering it. We're just like, whatever. We want to take care of the plants.
It's so resource heavy.
Yeah,
it takes a lot of time, and it's not worth it. Not for us anyway.
So this is just a small list for fall, and it's growing. And we also have more things like bulb planting. We forgot to put that on the list. We have a lot of tulips and daffodils to plant.
And that's coming.
That's coming up. So we would love to know or hear from you guys. What kind of fall tasks do you have coming up? Either join in on let's check our poll, actually.
The poll.
It's kind of all over the place. Actually, mulching has taken the lead of top fall tasks coming up for people. Next would be a tie between dividing plants and propagating plants by cutting.
Okay.
And
cool.
the last one would be bulb planting.
Awesome.
So very cool, kind of all over.
And that's going to change too as we get into fall. The early fall, mid fall, late fall, all those percentages will probably change because some of you are going to be able to get to all that, and some of you, your priorities are going to change.
I know.
So, but that's cool.
Yeah, really good
Right
point.
on, you guys.
So with that, that's kind of it for us. We've got a couple more slides to show you, but we want to remind you that the Amphi drawing we're going to do in about 5-10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes.
It's coming up.
We'll just give like a last warning. If you want to join that giveaway, let us know. Let us know by I can't talk. Put an I'm in or a hands up emoji in the chat.
Yep. Yeah, guys.
But we've got some audience pictures to show.
Yes, what is growing in everybody's yard?
I know, I'm excited
What is
to
going
show
on?
these. Gee, we have a couple of your photos, and I don't think I let you know which ones, so hopefully these are okay.
Yep.
But
this is so cool.
this
Thank
is so
you.
cool. I know.
Thank you guys for sending us these.
So we've got a teddy bear sunflower.
Pretty.
So isn't that gorgeous? We grew that last year, one of our favorites.
So this is what's growing in everyone's yard, though. This is G's.
Yeah, G's photos to start with.
Yeah.
Sorry.
G's photos, and then it looks like there's a whole bunch of tags.
Yeah, it's like
there.
on a ring.
That's cool. That's kind of fun.
And there were multiple slides of like this kind of thing. They have added so many plants.
Oh yeah, but that's cool though, G, that you did that. I'm assuming that's for organizing and keeping those in a central location. When you need to find those, you can just go flip through them. That's cool.
That's a really fun idea.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder, like, do you have them grouped by different sections of your garden
good
or
question.
different types of plants, or like front yard, backyard? Like, let us know if you're still here. Like, how do you organize that? That's a really fun.
Are they alphabetical?
Yeah.
If it was this house, they'd be alphabetical.
I know, but we're still. That's a winter project coming up.
So
alphabetical by front yard and then by backyard.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. So and then there's Kate Gusev's garden photos.
So pretty.
Awesome. Kate, I think this was over Instagram.
Yeah, this was from Instagram. She sent these to us.
She blew up our IG account, and
beautiful photos.
Allison was able to grab a couple of these photos, and so many tulips. Oh my gosh.
And daffs. I love those wild little perennial tulips you have in the front there, paired with the daffodils. I'm like super inspired by that because I love pink and yellow together.
Yep, that container there.
I love that, and there were a lot more.
Yeah, there's so many more, but beautiful. It's just gorgeous. So Kate, you got a lot of work in front of you, but you know what? It's going to be so beautiful next spring.
I know, and I think Kate was mentioning she sent these after our bulb planting live from a couple weeks back, and she sent a bunch of pictures, and she's adding, I think she told us, over 1,000 new bulbs this fall.
Oh my God.
Pretty much all daffodils and tulips, she said. She had some pictures of some beautiful hyacinth, but she really likes the daffodils and the tulips.
Amazing. That is wow, Kate. That is awesome.
That's so cool.
That's great.
We were telling her that we're really excited to see her spring garden photos.
We want to send them to us, please.
That's so fun.
Yeah. Gosh.
Oh, so G let us know he organizes them by tag size, then flowers and crops, then alphabetical.
Awesome.
So there's kind of like multiple systems.
Awesome.
That's so cool. Nice.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Very fun.
Where are we going now?
So we have a couple photos from our garden, mostly some.
But before we show our stuff, what's going on in our garden, you can always tag us on Instagram, or you can tag us on Twitter, and we're just at Spoken Garden, and let us know what's going on in your garden, what you're doing, what photos you have. We want to know, so let us know, and let us know too if it's okay when you tag us, if we can put them on the live show here and show everybody else and showcase your awesome gardens, your beautiful gardens. So just put a little plug in there for that.
Thank you for remembering that. Yeah.
And then so here's our garden.
I know we've got kind of transitioning from summer into fall, right? Like we all are. So there's different things that are kind of popping into bloom or taking prominence now, like those. Well, I wanted to show, or we wanted to show the campfire flame bidens. I don't know if we've showed you those before, but they are gorgeous right now. They're stunning.
And they're still flowering.
They're still flowering.
They've been flowering all summer since we got them.
Highly recommend these. They're just a small little daisy-looking flower, but they these were from Proven Winners, and I believe we ordered these online and they shipped to us. And I mean, we had 2 of them, and they're just beautiful. The color's like perfect for fall right now too.
Totally. Yeah, next up on that top row in the middle, Primo Wild Rose Heuchera. Wow.
Love that. I am so in love with this heuchera.
That burgundy, it's a purple, isn't it? It's not even burgundy.
It's like a
deep
purple. Plum purple.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Those leaves are amazing.
I forgot to tell you that my mom went to the same nursery we bought the set to see if they happened to have any left, because she was just in love with it.
Did she find any?
I don't know. I haven't heard back from her
I
yet,
hope she
but
did.
I'm kind of like thinking, gosh, we should have got a couple more of those.
Totally.
The next one is a beautiful Rudbeckia. This is a Toto. Rudbeckia. So it's got there's different ones. There's some that are just all yellow with just a brown center, or this one, which we really liked, which was kind of a bicolor. So that's a real pretty one.
Beautiful, gorgeous.
So next is this gorgeous kind of deep red, I guess.
I love that name.
I know it. Really, it's called red blotch.
It's so basic.
It's
red,
so, like,
red blotch.
It just doesn't match the gorgeous, rich color of the pansy.
It really
it's
doesn't.
Just red blotch.
It seems like they could have spent a few extra minutes naming it, but whatever.
Come up with like Cabernet or some kind of like amazing name. Like,
deep red sunset, or something.
Red blotch.
Red blotch.
So.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's that.
Sorry. Okay. So in the middle row there, bottom row, Pink the Town Magenta Dianthus.
These are gorgeous.
Oh, these are so awesome. They have that kind of bluish, whitish blue green leaf. It's just gorgeous, and it's so unique because a lot of our plants have that deep green or even a light green, but this plant can accentuate, and it can be used not only for color but also the texture. It's long, narrow leaves. It's just beautiful. And then the flowers. They're single flowers. That beautiful magenta, pink magenta. Just gorgeous.
They so pop. They just like. I love this plant. It's a 2022 Proven Winners Perennial of the Year. This specific Dianthus, and we are going to feature this on our plant chat next Friday.
Yep.
So we'll tell you a little bit more about it so you can get to know it and see if it's something you might want to add.
Yep.
It is a perennial in zones, 4 through 9?
4 through 9.
It's like a huge range.
Yep, 4A through 9B.
That's so cool.
Yep. So last up, Cirrus Dusty Miller, and it's a Dusty Miller. You might have noticed this. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you have. There's a bunch of different kinds of Dusty Miller out there now. Not only just the tried and true regular Dusty Miller with kind of that serrated, almost fern-looking leaf, but there's these smooth, kind of lance-shaped or almost arrowhead type of shaped leaves, and they still have that Dusty Miller look to them, where looks like they have a white dust on them, but they got a completely different leaf, and so these are beautiful, and we're really happy. We're really happy these are in our garden.
I really love Dusty. I love the pairing actually, and we didn't do this in our garden, but I kind of want to match Dusty Millers with the Dianthus. I think that looks beautiful.
It does. It does.
We might have to add some Dusties around some of our Dianthus.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
Really pretty. So just fun to see what's new. We've got lots of sedums in bloom, as you might as well, because it's such a late summer kind of just
early fall
stunner.
Yep, ours are still blooming. They're still going strong. A lot of the pollinators it really attracts the pollinators, especially the bees.
And a lot of us probably salvias are still in bloom, and like some of the maybe coneflowers definitely. Yeah, we have tons of coneflowers too.
Yeah, guys.
So those will go on for a while. Those.
You know, yeah. So really cool, guys. Wanted to share that with you. We also wanted to show you what's coming up in the next couple weeks for videos. We've got at least 2 plans.
This is kind of sad, actually. I know we don't really.
So moving along here, yeah.
We have some work to do.
So next week our live will be 5 tools or products to make your gardening easier this coming fall. So we're gonna have some tools. We'll show you those live and why we like them and how we use them.
And we have to shout out to Kim Matlock for this inspo for this topic.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely. Thank you, Kim. Thanks for suggesting this, because this is something we can definitely do, and hopefully it's helpful to everybody. So and then October 2nd, it's going to be an audience Q&A session. We're just literally going to come on here, and we just want to talk with you guys. Just want to have a conversation about what's going on in your garden, what some of your challenges are. If you have any questions about those things, if we can help, that's going to be the whole live.
And we'll bring some YouTube questions to answer live as well.
Yep.
And then TBD. So we're going to get to work on that. We realize there are 5 Saturdays in October, so that's super cool.
Yeah.
So we need to kind of organize our content calendar. We're working on that this weekend, probably. So we'll get back to you with that. So yeah, it'll be fun. We've got some surprises coming up. Probably.
Sorry, guys. Black screen.
For, probably fall-related gardening task type stuff.
Like it'll be fall-centric. It'll definitely be fall-centric. Maybe, if you guys want, maybe we can go over some bulb stuff again. We can look at different kinds of bulbs.
Much we could
talk about the different types of bulbs. How to plant them, what's going on, type of thing. I don't know.
There's lots of options. I mean, fall's just an awesome time. Oh, that reminds me, Daisy. If you're still here, I'm so sorry we didn't come back to your question. This is related to fall. She asks, can I plant my rooted hydrangea in the ground now, or should I wait until spring?
I would say now. Now's fine. Yeah. Your hydrangea should be fine. If it's coming from a pot, no big deal. If it's a new, now here's the rub. If it's a new cutting that you just took this year, like if you just took the cutting either like in the spring or summer, or even took it right now, if you took the cutting anytime this year, and it's got roots, that's super awesome. Don't plant it out yet. Do not plant it out yet. It's still too young. More than likely, it's not gonna make it through the winter, depending on where you live. But if you have a harsh climate or a semi-harsh climate, kind of like what we have, we're in zone 8B, our winters get relatively cold, and we do get snow. And a cutting like that is not gonna overwinter very well, or at all. It'll probably die, because it's just too tender. It's not tough enough yet. It hasn't developed a root system, and it's just not ready to be out in that type of weather. If you live in a warmer climate though, you might be okay, but I would still recommend, if it's a cutting, keeping it indoors, treating it as an indoor plant, either in a greenhouse or in your house somewhere, and then planting that cutting out next spring. It'll have that whole winter season to grow a much better root system, grow a larger stem system, or just get a lot tougher. So if it's a cutting, don't plant it now. If it's in a pot and it's got an established root system, like a 1-gallon pot or even bigger, you should be fine. When you transplant it, try to keep as much of the root system as you can, because that'll help it establish a lot faster where you're gonna plant it out in your yard. That's what I would do.
I like that. I hope that helps Daisy. And if you're, I'm sorry that we didn't come back to that right after that slide, like we said.
If you have more information and you want to get a little bit more specific about it, because you're just not sure because of your climate or what's going on in your yard, or the plant looks this way or that way, email us, Sean and Allison at Spoken Garden, and we can talk more about it and help you a little bit more with that. So
awesome. I think it's time for a giveaway.
Giveaway.
Should we do this? Okay, so again, for a $20 gift card to use at a new online live teaching platform called amphi.com. Let's see, here we go.
We have 4 people.
Click, I've got this little wheel here. Whoop, that didn't start. Okay, there we go.
Drum roll.
So I've got a wheel spinning on my screen with all the names entered. And
ding, 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 ding.
Sherry Osborne.
Sherry Osborne.
Woo!
Cool.
I have I wish I could show you my screen right now. There's like fireworks going off.
Super cool. Good
Yay,
job, Sherry.
Sherry.
Yeah. Yay!
So excited. So we're going to email you, Sherry. I think we still have your email. I think we do. So we'll check that. Otherwise, no, we'll try to get in touch with you, and if that doesn't work, we'll contact you on Instagram.
Yeah.
But we'll get this. It's going to be a coupon code to use for that gift card, and
yeah, you get to
like
$20 off any class
That's
on
so
Amphi
fun.
that you want to take. Try it out. Yeah, super excited for you.
Yay!
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
good. Daisy was here. Daisy said thank you. So again, Sean gave you our email if you need any more help with that.
Yeah,
So
let us know.
we've got some planting videos coming up this fall, I think, right?
Oh yeah.
We have a couple
yeah.
perennials we need to add. A few transplanting videos. We have a lot, actually.
Over 10. Yeah.
So
10 plants, 10
that's
plants.
pretty much it, you guys. And
Yeah. Wow.
gosh, this has been a great show. Thank you for bearing with us. We had to start a little bit late due to some technical difficulties, but we got it rolling on, and
We're dialing it in slowly.
sometimes it's out of our control, but yeah, what do you do?
Yeah, but yeah, thanks guys. This has been so much fun. We love the back and forth and the chatting going
Love
on.
it.
You guys, it looks like you've been having so much fun. The chat's just been blowing
The
up.
chat's been blowing up.
That's
There's been a
awesome.
lot of questions, a lot of support. Everybody's excited for G, and he gets to be a part of a school garden for his daughter's school.
Yeah, so cool.
We all want
Wow.
to hear updates, and let us all know, G, what we can do to help and support you with that, because that is such a cool opportunity.
Yep.
Really, really excited for you. Yeah, there's so many fun things going on. Everybody's congratulating Sherry, and we've got an idea for an upcoming live from Connie Graham. Connie said she's really excited to be back. She hasn't been able to join us, it sounds like, but we're so excited you're here, Connie, and thank you.
What's the idea?
The idea is to talk about cover crops for fall.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that an awesome idea?
Yeah.
She said she kind of finds it a little confusing, as a lot of gardeners do. So I think that'd be a really fun topic to explore.
Yeah.
So we'll all start brainstorming on that, different things that you've used. That'll probably maybe in October, possibly.
Yeah, could be one of the TBDs.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
be great.
Yeah. So thank you, Connie.
And Kim said she
Awesome.
also agrees with us about squirrels. She tries to dream up ways to get rid of them. They're mean little suckers.
They are. They're so cute though too, right? I mean, we don't want
They're fun to watch.
We don't
They
want
are.
to we don't want to hurt them. We don't want to be
No.
mean to them, but we don't want them to hurt our plants either.
Don't dig up our seedlings, our plants, our bulbs. Like on and on and on.
It's a weird relationship with squirrels.
So,
It really
oh my
is.
goodness. But yes,
Yeah.
so Sherry will be in touch with you, just
Yep.
kind of wrapping up that conversation. And thank you all for being here.
Yeah, thanks you guys. This has been really fun. So thanks again, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
And enjoy your last weekend of summer.
Yeah,
And fall
totally.
starts on what, Wednesday, the 22nd this year, I think.
Yeah.
So
It's coming
happy
up.
fall season to you.
Yep, it's the start of fall. Yay!
So we're ready.
Yep. So thanks guys for
Bye,
being
everybody.
here.
Thank you.
Yep. See you next week.
Next week.
Bye.